How's your first week on the job?
It's good. Actually, my first week, I've been freelancing.
Here.
Here. Oh, good. It's the article last week just on the client story. It was pretty straightforward. It was good.
Hey, how are you? Do you have a projector that you want to?
I don't have a projector. Oh, I have a screen.
Okay. So does that have the screen that comes down in case you want to project something else? Or else we could tie into this here?
Yeah, sure.
Do you know how to do that?
Yeah, as long as you have the right cable.
Oh, what, HDMI or something?
Yeah, HDMI works or a computer cable.
Why don't cable?
I can borrow it from this monitor. Yeah.
I have a thumb drive.
Thumb drive?
Or
Okay, but yeah, if I didn't bring the device to you to play that. What's a PowerPoint on the computer?
I have PowerPoint. Yeah,
This is not connection to that.
HDMI.
And HDMI?
Anyone you like, as long as HDMI.
Do you have an HDMI cable?
I guess I'll borrow it from this monitor.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. I assumed it was going to be like your office.
I hope you're good.
I'm Dean.
Sean, nice to meet you. Very good.
What's time to read this?
I write for the exam. Yeah.
I
So.
don't know. Got it? Okay. I'll just take it off again.
Good luck.
pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening and welcome to tonight's town board meeting. It is January 22nd, 2019. The first item on our agenda tonight is a presentation by Con Edison Solutions. Ian Diamond is going to make a presentation to us. It's going to be up on the little screen over here. What it is we've been looking into solar for a couple of years, and we were looking at it for our town hall, the community center, and our highway garage. Ian will give you more details on what kind of energy it produces and stuff like that.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the town board for this opportunity to meet with us again. Nice to see you all again. And thank you to members of the community. My name's Ian Diamond, Senior Project Development at Con Edison Clean Energy Businesses. And I just want to help people understand that who the Con Edison Clean Energy Businesses are. Apologies when I go through these screens. So the Con Edison Clean Energy Businesses are part of the Consolidated Edison companies. So on one side, if you can see the screen, can everybody see the screen? Mm-hmm. And apologies for my New York accent, by the way, for everyone. Yeah, I've lived in Westchester for 21 years and I still have this Australian accent. Many of you would be familiar with the Con Edison utility.
You could take that off, Ian, if you like. If it's
all right. So I can tell jokes as well and walk around the stage. That's great. The Con Edison is utility. Just to clarify, we have the same parent company as the utility. And also there's Orange and Rockland as another utility. We are not part of the utility as such. We're the Con Edison Clean Energy Businesses. We're on the non-regulated side, the non-utility side. So I just wanted to clarify that for everybody. So if you have problems with your electricity bills, please don't call me. That's not what we do. So the Con Edison Clean Energy Businesses are one of the largest owners of solar generating assets in the country. So even though we're a New York-based company, we own what we call solar generating assets. That is solar from solar panels that are generating electricity. And we own a lot of these solar farms, as we call them, around the country, many in New York, which we also install on public sector rooftops and ground mount facilities. So we are a New York company with a national footprint, and we are a local company in that our headquarters are a long walk from here, just across here at Summit Lake Drive. And I have to confess, I didn't walk over tonight because it's so cold. So what we're here to discuss with you tonight is about deploying solar in the town here. Now, solar, I'm sure many of you heard about that. If you're a homeowner, you can install solar on your roof, and you could do that by buying or leasing, and you're going to own that system for about 20 or 25 years. Similarly, if you're a commercial property owner, you could buy a solar generating asset, put it on your rooftop or install it over your parking lot, and you're going to own that asset for 20 or 25 years or even longer. Or you could be a public sector entity, like the town of Mount Pleasant or City of New York or City of New Bedford, and you could use public funds to own that, or you could enter into what we call a power purchase agreement, where a third-party company like us could own that system and provide the energy benefits to the town or public sector entity or commercial business. Now, all those approaches work very well, but what if you don't own your own home? What if you own your own home and you're not sure you're going to be there for more than 5 years? Or if you're a commercial business and you don't own your building, it's not so easy for you to put it on your rooftop. And likewise, if you're a public sector entity, it's not so easy. Do you really want to go for public funding to own the system? So in many states around the country, including New York, there's an approach called community solar. Now, it's relatively new, but the approach is, okay, companies like us can deploy the benefits of installing larger solar facilities. So we get cost efficiencies from that. And at the same time, the benefits of that go to multiple people, what we call subscribers. And those subscribers could be homeowners, but they could also be people that are renting their homes. They could be homeowners that have shading, but instead they can subscribe to community solar. Similarly, commercial businesses can subscribe to community solar. They don't have to own the property. So it provides a much wider benefit to a larger group in the community that can get the benefit from community solar, the benefit from renewable energy being deployed in our community. And also what can happen with a community solar is that there's the ability to lease the space, lease the property, as we do in many of our solar facilities around the country where we lease the space. And that's what we've proposed here to the town of Mount Pleasant, is that as a long-term company based in New York and based here also in the town, that we would like to lease some space from the town to build community solar where the benefits will be available to subscribers, anybody that would like to subscribe. And the nice thing about the community solar is if you move from your home, you just terminate the contract. There are no termination fees. So it's very simple in that regard. And the way that the community solar structure works is that the energy generated from the community solar, it goes into the grid. The utility turns that into credits, dollar credits, that are then credited against the subscriber's bills. So if you're a homeowner or a renter, you would get a little credit, $1 credit on your, no, not $1, more than $1, but you get $1 credit on your bill. And then we would then send you an invoice and it would be at a discounted rate. So the subscriber gets a discount from that. So it's a relatively simple, with no risk, and easy for many people in the community to benefit from the deployment of solar energy. We would, as the Con Edison Clean Energy businesses, we would fund the project, we would build it, we would own it, and we would operate it with our experience that we have and also being locally based. Those are the general sort of parameters with regards to the community solar. Should invite questions from the board or public on that, or wait till the end?
When you're done, yeah.
Okay. So getting to the specifics, we've been looking at a number of sites of town properties where we're suggesting that we could deploy solar. And a number of those sites, we're talking about putting solar on the rooftop here of this town hall building, also on the rooftop of the Public Works garage down the road. And also we're talking about building carports over the parking spaces here and around the side that would provide not just the ability for us to put the solar panels on top and generate electricity, but also to provide protection for cars, protection from the summer heat, and protection from the winter snow. And I understand the police department would appreciate that their vehicles benefit from that as well. So also with carports here, and also at the community center, the parking lot of the community center up on the hill, we're proposing to use that and install these carport areas over the parking spaces. Here are just a few renderings. And these are, just to understand, these are preliminary. Anything we do would be done in very close discussion with the town board and other interested members to ensure that what we do meets people's needs. This is the community center, and showing the drive up as you reach the top of the hill. Community centers to the right there. There's the solar canopies, the carports as we call them, with some low shrubs there at the front, just to provide a little bit of aesthetic barrier there. This is another view from the community center looking towards the parking lot area. This is the town hall. So this is looking from the northern part of Columbus, looking towards the town hall, approximately from that direction there, looking this way. And this is a slightly higher elevation views. We used a drone to take the photo from that. And this is potentially just down at the end of the walkway. We could put solar carports there as well. And these are just approximate designs. Probably we're not going to install on the rooftops here of the community center. We can do it, but again, it depends on what suits the building's usages and needs. We could also provide, if you see in the corner here, this would be a shaded area where people can have their picnics under the shade when they're at the swimming pool. And this is the town hall layout. You can see where the police vehicles could be under that protected covering. These other carport areas there, and then on the rooftop. And these are the public works garages on the rooftop there. So in all, the project, we'd like to maximize the system size, but a lot depends on the suitable space. So it's approximately about 1.4 megawatts of solar that we could install. And this also talks about the lease values for the town. Based on how much, it's $20,000 per megawatt per year. Yes, it's not a lot. It's a lease rate, but it's putting to use areas that aren't necessarily generating any other revenue. And also, lastly, to mention is that we have the potential of deploying some energy storage as well, potentially using some space at the far end of the parking area of the community center parking lot, not at the parking spaces, but further. If we do manage to deploy the energy storage as well, that would provide an increase in revenue as well for the annual revenue for the town. That's what I have to offer. So I think the key thing on this is that the community solar does provide a wide opportunity. It's a different approach to using solar, and we appreciate the town's consideration of this.
Thank you.
Thank you. I have a few questions for you, Ian, if you don't mind. The first is, and you may have said this, so forgive me. Do you know the percentage discount for a subscriber?
We're suggesting it'll be a 10% discount for the credits they will get.
Thank you. And second question, is the project feasible? Meaning, would it have a green light with less coverage at the community center, or is this the amount that you're proposing what you need to have to make this a feasible
The ultimate
project?
size would be determined in discussion with members of the board and others. There's a certain point where the efficiencies, I mean, that's the whole point of community solar, is the efficiencies of larger scale.
Right.
So it's to be determined in discussion, if that's helpful.
Last question, and a really small question. When you put the plantings, is that something that Con Edison does? As
Yes,
part
we
of
would do that
the
as well.
construction of the
Yes.
ports? Okay.
And on for subscribers to get the discount, can we target certain people? Let's say our seniors, we want to hit them first, give them the benefit of the discount first?
We would welcome that opportunity. Look, the number of subscribers that could subscribe to this facility is a relatively small number, probably 100 or so, or 150 subscribers. So it's a small base. So we believe there'll be more people wanting to subscribe than space available. So we are very, very amenable to making it available to those in the community that might benefit most from the discount from that. We would welcome that.
On that note, if you were to expand and do the roof at the community center, would that open up the ability for more subscribers?
It would. The roofs there are not straightforward. If you
Yes.
recall, there's the hemisphere there. Yeah, so we can easily look at any space that might be available. It could be ground space, it could be roof space, it could be car parking areas.
That layout there is not the entire community center lot. I understand.
Right, you've got that overflow area
Yeah.
that we have, I think you said to leave that out for this point, so we have left that out.
I had a few questions, please. So the trend is to save energy, basically. Is any other municipalities participating?
We don't have any other municipalities in the local area. Let me just think about that. The City of New York, we haven't done community solar with them. We've certainly done solar with the City of New York, Port Authority of New York and New Jersey, City of New Bedford in Massachusetts. We worked with many public sector entities, cities, towns, schools, deploying solar. We don't yet have one with regards to community solar. So this would be one of the first.
All right, that's good. The lifespan of the panels?
Yes, at least 30 years. They come with the warranty of the panels comes with a warranty of 25 years. We're expecting a system life of more than 30 years, which is really quite neat when you think that there are no inputs. We don't have a fuel cost, and they sit up there very quietly generating electricity.
Does the client sign up on a website, or how do they, is it simplistic in nature?
Yes, there will be a website for which people can sign up. There are a number of forms. There's an agreement to sign. We are required also by the state to provide a disclosure form, which is also a very simple way of understanding the nature of the transaction. We've tried to make this very simple for people. We've tried to ensure that the contract is relatively short in length and made it easy that they can subscribe with an auto-renew basis, but the ability to terminate at any time without any termination fees. Because we know people move.
Great, thank you.
I have a question. On the first slide that you showed, I believe it said the lease was 25 years. Is that
25 years, yes.
25 years, although the panels could last up to 30.
Yes,
Is this something that Con Ed Energy Solutions would come back and negotiate with the town again?
we would welcome that opportunity, that the ability to renew. That's certainly a possibility and would be at the town's option.
If something were to evolve over the next 25 years where panels of that size became obsolete, does Con Ed Energy Solutions come back to the town and work to update our?
It's a good question, and you know, our washing machine at home works very well. We don't have any plans to replace it just because it's 5 years old. And the same sort of similar thing applies with the solar panels. If you imagine they're going to be up there, the installation costs, it's already got its costs, its operating costs are very low. So even if we see incremental benefits in the efficiency of solar panels, it's not likely that we're going to want to replace that because they're generating as expected and have a long life in that regard. So it's not likely. Unless, again, maybe if electricity prices get very, very high, but we don't expect that to occur.
But we never know.
We never know.
Okay, thank you.
I'll let you negotiate the next one in 30 years, okay? I may not be here.
Let's see. I will definitely be a senior citizen then. No, I defer.
Anyone in the public have a question? You're welcome to ask. Mr. Noonan had his hand up first.
Albeit that the benefit would be very small, is it possible to extend the benefit to the entire community rather than 100 select subscribers?
We would welcome that. The challenge is that we're limited in space because the solar panels are limited with what they can produce from a particular area. So what we have proposed there, if we use those spaces, about 1.4 megawatts. If we had more land available to us or more rooftop space or more parking lot areas, we could build more solar. And that is part of our intention is to build more solar in our vicinity.
I'm inquiring about this particular project as it is. Instead of giving 100 people a 10% discount, could you give a smaller discount to a wider swath?
Theoretically, there becomes a point of efficiency with that. There are monthly administration costs to go through. So there's a certain break-even point with regards to the efficiency of that. Keeping in mind these values are relatively small on a monthly basis. So a customer's electricity bill is what, $100 a month or.
I wish.
Oh, where do you live?
And at the end of the lease, assuming that town didn't want to go forward with this new project, would Con Edison remove all of the panels and all of the construction that was done?
That's a very good question. Yes, the standard part of the lease contract would show at the end of the term of the lease, it is our obligation under our cost to remove the equipment. Yes.
Just a few quick questions. The rate you said for payback was $20,000 per megawatt?
The lease rent to the, yes.
Is that a competitive rate? Who made that determination? Is that Con Ed model? Is that the rate that Con Ed pays across the board to community solar across the nation? Are there other rates in effect? Is there a better value that the town can get?
If the town was in New York City, we could probably offer a higher rate. So it actually varies.
The locality?
It does. It varies enormously depending on the electricity costs and depending on the incentive program. There are multiple factors that go into that. It's not a lot of funding. We certainly looked at the economics very closely to try and maximize the value we could provide to the town to make it compelling enough to move forward. And that's what we also mentioned about the energy storage. If we can deploy that as well, there's extra economic benefit there.
I missed the energy storage.
Yes.
Is there a storage capacity for overproduction?
Yeah, we would like to investigate the ability of deploying energy storage in conjunction with the solar, and that would store some of the solar energy for when we could feed it back into the grid at times when the grid most needs it. So there's extra financial benefit for that.
So let me ask a technical question on the energy storage. That is batteries on site?
Yes.
At each particular solar location?
Not sure if we would
No
deploy.
transmission of the storage, it's storage on site. No transmission of the electricity generated, it is stored on site.
Some of the generation from the solar would go to charge the batteries, and then the batteries would then feed it into the grid at the appropriate times. For example, when the solar production is decreasing, the battery storages would start to send it into the grid as well.
So you mentioned in answer to Councilmember Spaulding's comment about technological improvements, battery capacities are constantly improving, and that's actually one of the major variables in solar capacity and efficiency. Is that an element that the Con Ed solution,
We're Con Edison Clean Energy Businesses. That's
would that be a possibility for increased technology?
yes, we are seeing increases in efficiency of the battery capacities.
Would that be something, because you said you wouldn't be in a position to do any upgrade on the solar panels themselves, even as they started to increase in capacity and efficiencies. Batteries seem to be a simpler and also more aggressively productive change in the technology.
Yes, let me just clarify something. It's not that we wouldn't necessarily upgrade the solar. It's that we see that as being unlikely. We would, with the
capital cost and the difference
yes.
of upgrading solar panels is much different than a battery.
Yes, with the energy storage, we do expect that storage costs will be going down quite significantly. We do also expect, as you say, a greater efficiency of capacity so we can fit more battery into a certain space. What we also have, though, right now, because this is the early stage of the market development, is there are very strong incentives to enable early developers like us to deploy it and explore those benefits earlier on. So we wouldn't rule out the potential of upgrading the battery system. We're happy to explore that. It might be unlikely, but we would certainly look at that.
But that is a decision that is entirely on your side of the equation. It's not part of the contractual arrangements with the town at all.
That's right. Although if we were going to deploy more megawatts of the batteries, that would require then a higher lease rate.
Well, that of course is my point. Is that as the capacity increases for the batteries, that would accrue to a greater benefit to the.
Yes, it's a good question. The part of the balance is that there's a balance of the battery storage with the solar. So we have approximately 1.4 megawatts of solar, approximately a megawatt of battery storage, which is what we believe is the appropriate balance there, because the batteries would be charged from the solar. So if we increase the battery capacity, there's going to be a deficiency in how the solar can charge that. So there are these balances with that.
I don't mean to challenge you as an expert, but I always thought that in many cases, solar production exceeded the capacities that the current batteries would store. There's often surplus energy that is not used in the production of solar. And that's the reason for increased battery capacity. So that's what I was getting to.
That's potentially the case in certain situations.
Maybe that's more in the desert, not necessarily.
Yes, that's right, where we talk about clipping, and we're getting very technical here and probably not the right audience.
I'll move on to that. The town opportunities to increase the revenue stream, or in general, to make sure that we're able to produce as efficiently and as maximize the production value of the sites we're using. I guess just one quick thing: do the panels move at all toward the sun?
These will not be. These will be fixed tilt, so they're going to be pretty boring. You can look at them and there's nothing to see.
No, well, they're also take any additional energy.
That's right. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else have a question? We thank you very much
Thank
for
you
your
very much for your
presentation, and we will have further discussion on this. We'll move on to the supervisor's report. First item is a purchase order number 135-1901, SCA Pass Annual Maintenance Contract. This is a annual service contract. This is regarding, pull this up. SCA is our ones who handle the computer programs for our receiver of taxes and our assessor's office. This is an annual renewal. The price has pretty much doubled this year, but the total cost for, there's 4 different items here. Total cost for the whole year is $16,395.
My understanding that there's either not many or no other vendors that service this?
At this time, there's no other vendors. The state is looking into creating a program, but that seems to be a couple of years out.
It's mandatory for us to have this.
Yeah, you can't operate the
Yeah,
system.
exactly. So I'd like to make a motion for approval based on that information, please.
Motion by Mr. Saliano,
I will go ahead and second that, please.
second by Ms. Smalley. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Next item is authorization for Jim Timmings, our assessor, to attend the Association of Towns meeting and training school. This is an annual school that the Association of Towns holds in New York City every year. It's open to board members, judges, and any employee, town clerks, anybody who wants to get some training, they're welcome to do that. So this training, I believe, starts in February around the week of President's Week, I believe it is.
17th, I think.
Yeah.
Or that Sunday, it starts the 17th.
But this resolution 5419 will allow Jim Timmings to attend the Association of Towns meeting and training school.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. DiPaolo,
Second.
second by Ms. Haggis. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item is purchase order number 162-1901. This is sort of touch-up painting for the hallways. We had some filming in Town Hall here. We also charged the film company for these touch-ups, so the cost of this is basically covered anyway. So the total cost for the touch-up by A.G. Williams is $1,800.
Make a motion for approval.
Motion by Ms. Haggis,
I'll second it, please.
second by Mr. DiPaolo. All in
Oh,
favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item also as regard to painting, purchase order 1621902. This is painting for downstairs on our recreation department. It's the offices and the storage areas.
Move for approval, please.
I just
Second.
want to give the total for that cost because it's quite
8,400.
extensive, $8,400. Motion by Ms. Smoley, second by Ms. Haggis. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. You're too fast for me. You know I'm slow on this. Next item is request authorization to increase the PO cost by $1,850, making it a total of $12,650. This was for the town hall lower level cleanup and remediation. As we discussed previously, we had water damage downstairs. And in order to, we had to remove sheetrock, some ceiling tiles, and there's remediation there for that to avoid any mold or anything like that. So this total is now $12,650.
Make a motion for approval.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Saliano, second by Mr. DiPaolo. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item is authorization to go out to bid for our HVAC maintenance contract. Specifications will be available at the town clerk's office by February 19th, and bids are to be returned by February 25th at town clerk's office.
Move for approval, please.
Motion by Ms. Smoley,
Second.
second by Mr. DiPaolo. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Authorization for two planning and zoning employees to attend the mistake-free grammar and proofreading seminar. That could be open to a lot of people. Resolution 5918 will approve those two members to attend. I don't know if we want to disclose their names.
I'll make a motion for approval, please.
I'll second.
Motion by Mr. Saliano, second by Ms. Haggis. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Can't wait for the mistake-free to come to fruition. Performance bond acceptance this is for Mount Pleasant Cemetery. As you may or may not know, we have discussed this at Mount Pleasant Cemetery, which is, this will be on the south side of Stevens Avenue in Hawthorne. They are doing some parking and drainage work up there. Unfortunately, they have pretty much a free hand of what they can and cannot do in the cemeteries. But our engineering department is watching over what they're doing there. The performance bond amount is $370,262.
Move for approval, please.
Motion by Ms. Smalley,
Second.
Second.
second by Mr. DiPaolo. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item is authorization to sign a license agreement. This is for 827 Warren Avenue in Thornwood. What we have here is the residents at this particular property have a wall and stairs that are actually encroaching on town property. What this agreement does is it protects the town so that the town would not be liable if any incident happens with the wall on the property, because it is on town property. So they basically hold the town harmless, I believe. Okay. This agreement here basically gives me the opportunity to sign this agreement with these residents. This has all been reviewed by town attorney, and it's pretty much ready to go.
Move for approval, please.
Motion by Ms. Smalley,
Second.
second by Ms. Haggis. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item is to appoint Lewis Johnson as Assistant Superintendent of Water and Sewer effective Tuesday, January 15th, as per 2019 budget. As you know, Greg Wynn, the longtime Assistant Superintendent, retired. So Lewis Johnson was appointed to take his place. He has been in that position since January 15th. I have to admit, unfortunately, right now, Lewis and the crew are down at Hawthorne Post Office repairing a water main in this horrible weather. So I commend them. They do this, unfortunately, too many times. They're out in the cold of the winter out there repairing water main breaks. So we commend Lewis and the crew and David Smith, who's in charge of all of this, for being out there in the cold, doing the things that we don't think about when we're home in a warm temperature. So this resolution will approve Lewis Johnson to the Assistant Superintendent of Water's position.
Move for approval.
Motion by Mr. DiPaolo,
Second.
second by Mr. Saliano. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item is authorization to promote Gene Scheibel, who's also down there out in the cold, in the Water and Sewer Maintenance Grade 2, effective Wednesday, January 23rd. That's a salary as per the 2019 CSEA contract.
Move for approval, please.
Motion by Ms. Smoley,
Second.
second by Mr. DiPaolo. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item is authorization for water and sewer employees to attend the 2019 New York State training classes for licensing and certifications. See if I have any names of who will be going. Total cost for this is $1,830.
Move for approval, please.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Smoley, second by Mr. Saliano. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item, as we all know, our longtime town clerk, Patricia Scova, will be retiring effective the end of January. This resolution will appoint Susan Marmel as interim town clerk effective February 1st, 2019, as per the 2019 budget.
Move for approval, please.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Smoley, second by Mr. DiPaolo. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item is appoint Susan Marmel to register effective February 1st, 2019, with the stipend as per the 2019 budget.
I'd like to move for approval, please.
Motion by Ms. Haggis,
Second.
second by Mr. DiPaolo. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item is appoint Daniel Drake to Deputy Registrar effective February 1st, 2019, with the stipend as per the 2019 budget.
Move for approval, please.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Smoley, second by Ms. Haggis. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item is authorization to correct the 2018 school tax bill for 12 Christie Court in Pleasantville. There was the enhanced star deduction was removed and has been reinstated as for the assessor's memo and the appeal from West County Tax Commissioner. I have the details if you don't have them. It's an adjustment on their 2018-19 school tax bill.
Make a motion for approval, please.
Motion by Mr. Saliano,
I'd like to second that, please.
second by Ms. Smoley. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. One more authorization to correct the 2018-19 school tax bill for Ledge Rock Gardens. This is for Section 99-19-161. Request your approval to correct the 2018-19 school tax bill for the above parcel. Deductions were adjusted on 3 units as per the assessor's correspondence as attached.
Move for approval, please.
Motion by Ms. Smoley,
Second.
second by Ms. Haggis. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item, as you may remember, we have been trying for the past few years to get approval for the 3% hotel tax in town. We have been giving the go-ahead from our new senator, Senator Peter Harkin, and also our Assemblyman Tom Abernathy, that they will push this through for us. What this will do is we have to submit a home rule request again to them both. And I do not have a number yet for what the bill number is, but they assured me it will be coming soon. But passing this resolution pending the bill number would be appreciated.
Move for approval, please.
Motion by Ms. Hagedis,
I will second, but I hope my father's not watching because he would not be happy with me raising taxes in any way, shape, or form. That said, I think it's important for all to know that this occupancy tax is generally, not always, but the majority of time will be a tax on non-residents. And that the town, much like in sales tax scenarios, can benefit from this. So for that reason, I would second it.
thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Authorization to secure $1 million funding for state and municipal facilities program. This is a SAM grant for downtown streetscape projects. Authorization is requested to the town board to approve the commitment of $2.57 million in funding needed to secure a $1 million grant from New York State for the downtown streetscape improvement project. The town was previously awarded two $500,000 state and municipal facilities capital program grants. The passing of resolution by the town board is required to solidify the town's commitment to this project and thereby permit the town to enter into a contract agreement with New York State Dormitory Authority to secure the money. Upon execution of this agreement, the town will be permitted to submit expended funds for a reimbursement of up to $1 million. This agreement would be in place for 3 years, but town will have the ability to extend the term to allow more time for work to be completed. We recommend the town board authorize this commitment of funds for the downtown streetscape project as to prevent the state from reallocating these funds for different recipients.
I would absolutely like to make a motion to authorize and secure the $1 million funding. Thank you.
Motion by Ms. Smalley,
Second.
second by Mr. Saliano. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item is the referral for the Con Ed development. This is separate from the proposal we just witnessed. This is for a proposal for a solar array at Gate of Heaven Cemetery. The board has reviewed this, but we would like the planning board to have a shot at to make sure all the requirements are met by the requirements of the planning and zoning department. So this resolution 7219 will refer this to the planning board.
So,
Move to approve.
Motion by Ms. Hagedis, second by Mr. DiPaolo. All in favor?
aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. As I said before, our water department is down repairing water mains, and if you see one of these guys around, maybe just thank them for their services. Also, I'd like to thank our highway department for the work they did, even though we did not get the storm of the century that was proposed. They still made sure that we did not have icy conditions throughout our town. One other note, we just solidified our contract with a LED company that for our streetlights. Just the good news on this part is the town will basically save around over $200,000 a year just for our streetlights by changing over to LED. So I'm glad we were able to move in that direction. Right now, we have business from the floor. Anybody who wishes to address the board is welcome to do so.
Ken Noonan, Valhalla. I have a question regarding the community solar project at the Gate of Heaven Cemetery. First of all, this was originally presented to the IDA. Is the IDA still involved with this now?
Yes.
Okay.
It still needs planning and zoning approval before they can move forward with it.
I think it needs, if I'm correct, you need to change the zoning because it's zoned residential. Is that,
That's why it has to go to planning and zoning board, yes.
have you already made a recommendation as to what?
No,
No.
this resolution was referring it to the planning board. We want them to look at it, come back to us, and tell us what they think we should do moving forward. At that point, the town board may have to make a recommendation to change the zoning of the property. This is it'll be a temporary changing. It could be a special permitted use. We're not sure how that's going to work yet because it'll only be for a 25-year period. It's not a,
So that comes from planning department? I thought that the
planning board would make a recommendation to us.
make a recommendation to you and
And
then
then
you
we
would
would
vote on
make
it.
that decision to change the zoning.
I get. And as far as the lease goes, has anything been done with regard to the lease that is, and
With the cemetery?
with the cemetery? Is,
No, we don't have the details of that yet.
you don't have any details there?
Yeah, we have to make sure it can move forward first, then we'll know, we get some details on that.
And back when this was presented to the IDA, we were asking about the tax rate for a solar array. Has anything been done to?
We don't
To
have the
determine
exact
that.
numbers yet. Actually, the town will be reaping tax benefit from it, which we don't get now
Mhm.
because it's tax exempt property. But
Mhm.
Con Edison Solutions will be paying tax for the use of that property to the town of Mount Pleasant.
But we don't know that yet.
No.
And am I correct, is it that there isn't a town code for such an installation?
No,
There's no town, would one be created maybe?
we do have to look at the solar code as far as for residential use and for this type of use. We don't need, we don't need permission for town properties, but for properties such as this with the cemetery, it may come under a special use type permit.
Mhm.
Because it is a temporary use, it may come under that, but that decision between the planning and zoning department, we will wait for their recommendations to come back on that.
Okay, thank you. I have a question about the Granicus and your digital setup now. My understanding about it was that the public would be able to access backup information on these topics. And I'm noticing that in the public folder, we have less information in the public folder than we ever had. And I didn't hear anything discussed about how the public could drill down on any of these particular issues here.
I'll look into that. We're still learning with the system. Every week, there's another little glitch that we're working out.
Uh-huh.
As of this morning, my assistant was not able to put resolution numbers on. So she was back and forth all afternoon trying to get that straightened out.
Uh-huh.
So we're still fixing little glitches in the system. So I think our object here was, in the end, to make sure that more information is available to the public. That was the reason we were doing this.
Okay.
So eventually, there will be more access to get this information.
Yeah, I didn't know whether I was missing something, whether there exists
Sometimes I'm
at the
missing
present
something
time.
too. So
And then just finally, at the work session, you discussed the restaurant at the Hawthorne train station. Have you decided anything regarding, the gentleman who owns it was asking for an extension on his lease and some kind of a break on the rent? Have you
we
decided?
haven't decided what we're going to do on that yet. Today, he just formally brought me what it may look like as far as color. I asked for a description of what the sign is going to look like. We own the building. It's not that we have to go for architecture review board approval or anything like that. There's no structural changes. They were talking about adding to the left side of the building. That's not going to happen now. They were requesting to move the garbage container to the end of the parking lot, which is something I think would be wise. So we're going to be looking at that. But as far as the lease, we have not had the opportunity to talk to the town attorney about that yet, and what offer we may be able to make as far as helping them with their investment, as far as giving them a discount. We have not decided on that yet.
Well, I just have a comment about that. I believe you said that the rent that they're paying now for that building is $1,200 a month. That's a ridiculous rent
I
for
don't
that
think,
whole
I think it's
building.
more than
That's
that.
not the right price.
$1,900 a month, Mr. Newman.
Even 19 is a ridiculous amount of money. That, I mean, I can understand him wanting to extend his lease, and I would rent that place for a man cave for that kind of money a month.
Well, you do have that opportunity if you want to make a proposal.
But just to help answer your question, I was here originally with Carl in the boardroom when we negotiated the first agreement. You're stating a price, but you have to take into consideration it was about $500,000 or $600,000 worth of capital improvements to that building. So an entrepreneur spent $500,000 or $600,000 of their own money. It didn't cost the town a dime, and the building it's night and day. It looks absolutely spectacular compared to what it was. So you have to, in business, you have to look at all the factors.
I understand that, but if you have that little of rent, you could get your return on your investment pretty quickly. I mean, at $1,200 a month, which is what I thought it was, that's like $40 a day. You could sell 40 cups of coffee and cover your rent for the day. I mean, it just is a ridiculously low rent for that whole building, and I just wanted to comment about it. And I don't think that if you're going to give them that rent, I don't think that there shouldn't be any deal made to give them some months free. I mean, it's just that would just make it even worse. I just my comment on it.
If I may, Mr. Noonan, I
Yep.
do appreciate your comment on this. While we discussed, and I believe you're at the work session,
Mhm.
and while town board did discuss this, one of my fellow councilmen, Mr. DiPaolo, asked that we see the lease. And we also confirmed, all of us confirmed, that we'd like to see the lease, discuss it with our attorney, and perhaps back to the town board before we made any decisions on alleviating the rent during renovation or whatever, or even keeping the rent the same. We have not reached that decision yet.
Mhm.
But again, I appreciate you bringing the point up because you were at the work session as we were. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Anyone else wish to address the board at this time? There be no further speakers, we'll move on to our town clerk's agenda.
Received oath of office from the Pleasantville Fire District for Fire Commissioner. Received the oath of office from the Hawthorne Fire District for Fire Commissioner. And the oath of office from the Valhalla Fire District for their Fire Commissioner. Received the following annual reports for 2018. Architectural Review Board, Zoning Board of Appeals, Planning Board, Mount Pleasant Safety Committee, and received notice of public hearing from the town of Greenberg. Reference amend Chapter 285-10A for F Assisted Living Facilities. And at this time, I would like to thank the voters of Mount Pleasant for voting for me for the past 13 elections. I owe you my gratitude for giving me the opportunity to serve you for 26 years. Being town clerk has been a job I have loved and enjoyed immensely. Would also like to thank the board members I have served with over the years: Joan Mayberry, Rob Astorino, Boris Fiore, Peter D'Amelio, Steve D'Amico, Mark Rubio, Carl Fulgenzi, and Anthony Amiano. To the current board members, Nick DiPaolo, Laurie Smaller, Tom Ciliano, and our newest member, Francescus Haggadis McHale, thank you for all your support and help. I have served under 3 supervisors, Bob Meehan, Joan Mayberry, and of course, Carl Fulgenzi. I thank them all for their guidance. They all govern differently, and you learn with each one. To my co-workers and department heads, I hope I have served you well and given you the cooperation and the support that you so readily deserve. My office has always provided services to residents, non-residents, politely and efficiently. Being on call 24/7, one of my special duties was to serve my funeral directors in my home. This always proved to be a very interesting part of the job, and sometimes very sad, and other times very lighthearted. The past several weeks, people have come in and offered their congratulations on my retirement, and it has been very rewarding. They have made positive remarks the way my office has always responded to their requests and the friendly service that has been provided to them. The motto in my office is, "We are pleasant in Mount Pleasant." As they say, behind every good man, there is a good woman. I have been extremely fortunate to have the best women behind me. When I was first town clerk, Barbara Mazzarella was my gal Friday, and I thank her for her years of service to the town. Danielle Drake, who has been second deputy for 2 years. She has done an outstanding job, and I know she will continue to serve the town under our new town clerk. I've had an exceptional deputy for the past 11 years, Susan Marmel, and you heard that she's appointed tonight, effective February 1st. Susan knows the office and can perform any task that might arise. She is friendly, efficient, competent, and pleasant. She will be a terrific town clerk. And may I say thank you again. It's been a wonderful 26 years.
And thank you, Pat. Thank you for all your years of service to the town of Mount Pleasant. Your talents will be sorely missed. And we look forward to you having a wonderful and enjoyable retirement.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I just want to add to that and thank Pat. But just going down memory lane, I have known Pat Scova at least 35 years, at least. And I've had the honor of her sitting to my right for the past 5 years. When I first came on the board, if I slipped up, she would tell me. And that was what I needed. I appreciate all your advice, all your guidance, but I appreciate more your dedication to the public of Mount Pleasant. Many people do not take civil service positions seriously, or they don't live by the motto that we are here to serve. You truly do. Thank you, Pat. Thanks for sitting by my side, and good luck. Enjoy retirement.
If I may, Pat, thank you for all your years of service, not only as a town clerk, but also watching over all the employees in town. I think that was a special knack that you had, and I'm certainly appreciative, and I know many, many of our employees are. You always looked out for everybody, and you always reminded the board when we needed to look at things differently. So I appreciate that, and I thank you for that. I certainly will not forget you because your name is on my marriage certificate, so I can't. Thank you.
I just wanted to say thank you too, and Pat is a very special person. One of the first impressions you make when you come into town hall is her office, and she always provided superb customer service, always very friendly, very professional. So really, she was the first impression of our world, and she did an exceptional job, and she was an exceptional example. I want to thank her for being a friend to me, like a mom to me, and she really advised me brilliantly, and I really appreciate your friendship, and good luck in your retirement.
I'm the newest member here, and we barely have met, but I just want to thank you for the warm welcome you gave me when I first called on the phone and said I wanted to come in. You were the one who answered the phone, and you called me hun and dear and said, you know, I'm going to get them to call you right back. And I immediately relaxed because I knew that I was in good hands. And every time you've spoken to me, you've been so wonderful and warm. So best of luck in your retirement. I know that doesn't mean you're not going to be working. I know you're going to be running around doing great things.
Thank you, Francesca, and good luck to you on your first term.
Thank you.
Never called me hon.
With Stacy? Are you kidding me?
Thank you. We'll move on to our council reports. Councilman DiPaolo.
Thank you. On behalf of the Comptroller's Office and Brian Keneally, the following claims have been submitted for board approval. From Justice Court, Carl Anderson, some stenography services from December, $4,025. From November, $4,600. Also, Precise Translations for $1,125, a total of $9,750. Out of the assessor's office, Hudson Gateway Listing Service, $600. From the building department, Miller Proctor Nicholas, it's a service contract for $4,753. Software Consulting Associates, $3,270. EBP Supply Solutions, paper goods, $668.14. RTK Environmental, that's environmental testing that was done, $1,450. Grand total of $10,141.14. Special Consulting Services, Industrial Appraisal, $1,360, and also $410. Grand total of $1,770. Off-street parking, New York State Department of Transportation, this is commuter parking, $1,400 total. From Public Safety, Corsi Tire, for the police department, $1,941.80, that's total. From Safety Inspection, elevator inspections done in December, $5,495 total. From our planning board, Cleary Consulting Services for December, $1,000 total. For highway machinery, Moreland Hose and Belting Corporation, repairing some trucks, $5,327.50. Excuse me. From Highway General Capital Project line, Peter Landy Incorporated for sidewalk replacement work, that was $35,004.45, and the grand total there is that is the grand total. Capital Pool Complex, Peter Landy sidewalk retainage fee was $350.49. Capital Joint Water Districts, Schmitz Wholesale, this is for the water, $21,240, that's a total. From Kensico Capital Projects, consulting fee for July through October of last year, $10,892.50. From Mount Pleasant Consolidated Sewer District, software agreement for 2019 is $750. Joint Water District Fund, again, a 2019 software agreement for $1,125. Botanical Water District number 1, again, consulting Professional Consulting Incorporated for some dechlorinization projects, $7,070. Botanico Water District number 1, spill prevention, $2,790. Coin Chemical Company, $2,317, and that's a grand total of $12,177. For Kensico Water District, there was Professional Consulting Incorporated, services, $2,203.75. Spill prevention, $3,851.25. From H. Crevitt & Co., there was a claim for $1,935, additional claim for $387. The total for Kensico Water District is $8,377. Trust and Agency Escrow, Cleary Consulting, $937.50, and a second one from Cleary Consulting for $250, total of $1,187.50, and a total for the comptroller's report this meeting is $128,529.38. I respectfully ask for approval from the board.
Motion by Mr. DiPaolo,
Second.
second by Mr. Saliano. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Just one point on the Wall Street Park and New York State Department of Transportation. I have been trying to negotiate with New York State DOT for the past over a year. They charge the town, this is the old number, $1,400. They've been trying to get $2,800 from the town of Mount Pleasant for this commuter parking lot. I'm trying to get New York State to transfer this property to the town of Mount Pleasant. It is absolutely no use to the state. So we're still in negotiations on that, and we will not be paying the new amount until we resolve this situation with the lease.
Second item on the comptroller's report is seeking authorization to make a final lump sum payment for police department and retiree Matt Brown. Accumulated sick time is in the amount of $29,229.42. Accumulated vacation time $449.68 for a total lump sum payout of $29,679.10. Again, like to thank Matt for all his dedication to the town, and I would move for approval.
Second.
Motion by Mr. DiPaolo, second by Ms. Hagadis. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Saliano.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My report is from the Police Department. We have 6 items for you for this evening. This item is purchase order 30/19/11 Eventide Log Recorder Annual Lease. This is a recorder for our radio times. It's very essential if there's an investigation. Go back and look at the record. The total price for this log recorder is $8,100. I respectively ask the board for a motion of approval, please.
Motion by Mr. Saliano,
Second.
second by Ms. Smalley. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. The second item is purchase order number 30/19/12, 6 commercial vehicle scales. These scales are used to weigh vehicles, in particular trucks, that are overloaded or weigh too much. There's a lot of truckers that either intentionally or unintentionally overload their trucks where the trucks are too heavy and they damage the road, and it could cause an accident. So these scales are essential towards stopping this from happening. And the total price for these scales, $5,195. I ask for a motion of approval, please.
That's just your total cost is.
Oh, I'm sorry. Correction. Thank you. Good thing we have a teacher here. It's $31,170. I was looking for a discount. I ask for approval, please.
Motion by Mr. Saliano,
Second.
second by Ms. Hagadis. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
The third item is a purchase order, again from the police department, for traffic cameras. The vendor is GSS. The total price is $3,744. I move for approval, please.
Motion by Mr. Saliano,
Second.
second by Mr. DiPaolo. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
The fourth item is purchase order 30/19/14, purchase of iPads to monitor remote cameras. And the vendor was Amazon Capital Services. And again, it's for PD. The total price is $975. I move for approval, please.
Motion by Mr. Saliano,
Seconded.
second by Ms. Smalley. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
The fifth item is authorization for 2 police department employees to attend dispatcher certification training. The training is for dispatchers, and Ryan Rogers is going to attend, and Joseph Paparella, and the total cost is $129 per person. I ask the board for approval, please.
Motion by Mr. Saliano,
Second.
second by Mr. DiPaolo. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
The sixth item is authorization for police officers to attend Armora course. It's Officer John Cramel, and the total price is $250. That's correct, right?
Jonathan Crammell, $250.
Yeah. I ask the board for approval, please.
Motion by Mr. Saliano,
Second.
second by Mr. DiPaolo. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
All right. Thank you. Have a very good evening. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Councilwoman Smalley.
Good evening. My report, of course, is from the Department of Parks and Recreation, or Recreation and Parks, depending on how you feel this evening. The first item is purchase order 70-19-02 lake management contracts. And these are for treatments that are done annually to 2 of our water areas. The first is to Bear Ridge Lake. There are 5 treatments, and the second is for Opperman's Pond. There are 3 treatments. These treatments occur to keep the vegetation and the algae from overgrowing in those 2 areas. The total cost, including 2 permits at $710 each, is $9,270. Move for approval, please.
Motion by Ms. Smalley,
Second.
second by Mr. DiPaolo. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. The next item is purchase order 70-19-03 for cleaning services for the Bradhurst Community Center. This is a building often used daily by the residents of town of Mount Pleasant and the Northeast Recreation Program. Although it is county-owned, it is leased to the town of Mount Pleasant for those purposes. We are responsible for the cleaning. The vendor here is Good Deal Cleaning LLC out of Elmsford. The monthly cost is $500 per month for 12 months. The total cost is $6,000. Move for approval, please.
Motion by Ms. Smalley,
Second.
second by Mr. DiPaolo. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. The next item, number 3 on the agenda, is purchase order 70-19-04. These are 2019 lease payments per contract for the Recreation Department's photocopier through Rico Copier monthly service contract, and the monthly fees are $236.90. The total cost for the year of 2019 is $2,842.80. Move for approval, please.
Motion by Ms. Smalley,
Second.
second by Mr. Saliano. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. The next item is authorization to hire for No Stress Chess, effective February 6, 2019. Denise Danzis as a No Stress Chess instructor, say that 3 times fast, at a rate of $75 a session, up to 8 students, or $100 a session for 9 students or more. Registration is currently underway for this program, and this will be effective on February 6, 2019. Move for approval, please.
Motion by Ms. Smalley,
Second.
second by Mr. DiPaolo. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. The next item, number 5 on the agenda, authorization to hire part-time staff, which was effective on December 5th, 2018. Memo number 2, we're requesting the approval of the following part-time recreation assistants to work at special events, Parents' Night Out, and Kids' Night Out. Ken Fisher Basketball, Men's Basketball. Bailey Rogers, Stephen Lamana, and Alexis Bischoff at a rate of $12 an hour. Move for approval, please.
Motion by Ms. Smalley,
Second.
second by Mr. Saliano. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
The next item is memo number 3 and number 6 on the agenda, authorization for Steve Mott to attend Southeast Regional Turf Conference. Mount Pleasant Parks and Rec are very, very fortunate to have this individual on staff. The conference will be held in Monticello, New York from January 29th through the 30th. Registration is $160. The total cost for the conference, including registration with lodging and travel, will not exceed $450. Move for approval, please.
Motion by Ms. Smalley,
Second.
second by Mr. DiPaolo. All in favor? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
And number 7 on the agenda for this evening is authorization to appoint Elizabeth C. Lynn Salato as Senior Recreation Leader, effective 2/7/19. Her salary will be per the 2019 CSEA 1 contract. Elizabeth's hire date was 1/11/19 with a start date of February 7th, 2019. The annual salary per contract is $57,338. Move for approval, please.
Motion by Ms. Smalley,
Second.
second by Mr. Saliano. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. Welcome to Elizabeth. I also like to remind parents that have been asking, yes, day camp registration, believe it or not, in this cold weather we are worrying and planning for the summer, will begin on February the 4th. If there are additional questions, please contact someone here at the Recreation Department. They'll be more than happy to help you. Thank you.
Councilwoman Haggerty.
Good evening. As you can hear, I am just recovering from bronchitis and laryngitis, so bear with me, please. I have 3 items to discuss with you. The first one is an authorization to increase the original cost on purchase order 50-18-05, which was originally $49,000 to $53,625. The additional $4,625 was needed for extra material, excuse me, and labor to complete the emergency drainage work at 32 Liberty Street, Hawthorne. I move to approve, please.
Motion by Ms. Haggerty,
Second.
second by Mr. Saliano. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. The second is an authorization to deposit bond for a street opening permit number 6389. And this is a check covering the bond amount for the following street opening permit. And it's been forwarded to the Office of the Comptroller for deposit in the escrow account until the work is being performed under the bond has been completed and the road restored to the highway superintendent's satisfaction. I move to approve.
Motion by Ms. Haggerty,
Second.
second by Mr. DiPaolo. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
And luckily, I only have 3 items because my voice is running out here. The third one is an authorization to go out to bid for 2019 bituminous materials and highway-related materials. The highway superintendent will be soliciting cooperatively with the Village of Pleasantville and the fire districts of Valhalla and Thornwood. The bids would be returnable to the office of the town clerk at 11 a.m. on Friday, February 22nd, 2019. I move to approve.
Motion by Ms. Haggerty,
Second.
second by Ms. Smalley. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. I do not believe we have anything from our town attorney. Our scheduled meetings, work session will be Tuesday, February 5th at 7 p.m. Our business session will be Tuesday, February 12th at 8 p.m. If there be no further business, I would entertain a
Can I
motion.
just add one other thing?
Sure you can.
We are now selling the parking permits for the commuter lots. The price is the same as it was last year. You can pay with cash or check. And please come in with your registration and your driver's license. And as I say, they're on sale. They go into effect March 1st.
Thank you. At this point, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. DiPaolo, second by Mr. Saliano. Meeting adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.